folks. Welcome back to the BoomBastiCAST. In this episode, we will be discussing our venture into the world of Supermegafest. And it was super fun.
Oh, yeah.
We had our little Andy Rue with us, doing it big, going around.
Heck yeah.
He was hawking off DVDs and all that great stuff.
Yeah, we learned a very important thing in marketing is that it's always easier to get people interested in what you're doing by having a cute little kid doing it for you.
And he was doing it big. He went over to Tony Danza, got Tony Danza to fall in love with him.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Tony's son is Andrew, and his father's name was Matty, so he kind of took a liking to us, and more so to Andrew. Pulled him aside for a little bit. Don't worry, I was close by to watch to make sure it was nothing, he wasn't, showing who the boss was, you know what I mean? But he pulled him aside. They had like a little discussion about life, which was fun, and growing up and being a kid and all that stuff. And I always knew Tony Danza just seemed like a really cool guy from the get-go.
Oh, yeah.
But to see that really was, when you see, the folks give the kids, appreciation, all that good stuff. It's fun. I always remember it. It means something to me, damn it. It means something to me.
Well, actually, just to cut in for a little bit, one of the best things was also Tony kind of surprised us.
He did, yeah.
And with a little what was it?
Was it a ukulele?
Yeah, it was. He sang Blue Moon.
Blue
right?
Moon, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a group of musicians traveling through the convention, and they were doing different, like Star Wars themes and all that type of stuff for convention type things. Yeah. And they stopped in that room. And he whipped out his ukulele, showing him who the boss was.
Oh, actually, they had the ukulele.
Oh, they did? I thought he took it out of his own area.
No. He actually, one of them had a ukulele, and he came up, asked him if he could have it for a second, and then he asked them if they knew the song Blue Moon, and then he started doing the ukulele, and everyone, went with it. It was a great, spur of the moment thing.
It was one of those happenings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got a little bit of it on my cellular device. Maybe we'll throw a little on this video so you can get a feel. Yeah. But that was really cool. We'll start off from the beginning. Walking around, there was a lot of cool vendors there.
Oh, yeah.
We had the Token Dead folks were there, always great folks. And Benjamin's always smiling, and big man. He was just recently in our new a new short that we're doing.
Yeah.
Nice cameo from him, so it's nice. We had Brianna was working his booth.
Yeah.
It's always good to see her.
Yeah.
Mike was there for a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
And he was kind of running around a little bit. But always good to see him when we can type deal. We stopped in and seen, I think, Jim from Silver Bullet Studios, I believe.
Okay,
where I got my Charlie Manson 8x10, very good artist over there. Maybe we'll do some links if we can remember to do. We never do, but we talk about it. But that was cool. Trying to think of who else we've seen for vendors. Our brothers at the Dorkening were there doing it big as always.
Yeah, always.
It was great to see all
to
them. Leo and Kevin, always good. We've seen Steve in there from Super Retro Video was in the building. Alex Hoey, boy. Yeah, Brianna was at his table too. He's over there hawking up all his art. Great stuff. Stop on in. Super nice guy. Get a picture. Get a nice card. Give you a nice card for free with drawings on it. It's very beautiful. He's got this really cool Jason print that I'm going to grab next time I'm there. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, Supermegafest is really cool. Supermegafest is more of a more family-friendly convention. It's probably our most family-friendly convention that comes around that is still reasonably priced. Those other ones, you go into the Rhode Island Comic-Con and you go into at Boston Fan Expo, you're paying some serious loot. The kids don't get a Christmas type loot if you're going to bring everybody there.
Yeah.
They rack those numbers up. But Supermegafest is very, for the money, it's one of the better ones you can go to. I like it because it not only is it kid-orientated, it's really older TV show-orientated, too, which I really dig.
Yeah, the Dukes of Hazard guys were there with also Daisy Duke herself, which was awesome.
Um, we got to meet French Stewart.
That actually, I mean, for me, that was the biggest highlight
Yeah.
because I mean, of course, I mean, people know him from Third Rock from the Sun, which he's great, love him in that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to admit, for me, my first introduction to French Stewart was the sci-fi film Stargate. That
Okay.
was the first time I ever saw him, and you know, I always enjoyed his character. I really didn't know who the actor was. It's one of those things where you watch a film and you see an actor you really don't know that much,
Yeah.
and they do a fun performance, and then later on you see him in something else, and you're like, wait a minute, that guy looks familiar, and then you
Yeah.
make the connection, and he's another one of those guys which he loves the fans. You can just
Yeah.
tell he's not there upset like, oh, I really haven't made it big. I need to pay the rent. That's why I'm here. Which is unfortunately a kind of mode and feeling I get from some of the you know actors and other people that come to the convention as guests. But we saw a panel with him. I mean, coming in, he was all like, "Hi, how you doing?" He really, he really lived up and made the panel so much fun.
He was like a proper guy. There's one thing
Yeah,
I'll say about the conventions is like you'll go to a Q&A and you'll see somebody who's like ultra cool and they won't tone down their language even though there's a lot of kids there. And I felt it. He had a good grasp of that because every now and then you'll get somebody up there that'll be like saying foul things and you
yeah,
look to your right and there's like a kid there and it's like, yeah, I mean it's probably the parents' fault. The kid shouldn't be there, but I'd tone it down, and
yeah,
I think Stewart toned it down.
yeah.
For the kids, there's a lot of kids there, which is good. Yes.
Also, another thing I noticed is that there were like one or two people that asked questions that were a little hard to understand because they were falling over the words and all of that. But friend Stewart, took the time and he listened, and when he figured out what the question was, he answered it as truthfully and as nice as he could. Sometimes I find it when someone comes up and they're not as quick or straight to the point as someone else. People get agitated, get
And there's also there's like a weird cool kid jock vibe with some of these people,
yeah,
where like, let's face it, the fans are made. The conventions are made up of fans that can be
yeah,
very nerdy about the things that they love. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I think they care more about the material than the people that were in it. Sometimes it was just a job to them.
yeah,
So it's cool to see that when you, because every now and then you do see the people that really can't speak in front of
yeah.
people. You know what I mean? And they get lost in their words and stuff. And I do, it's good when people just like he did, took it in, figured it out, answered it. Where some people would, Jason Momoa would give him the crooked eyeball and say,
Jason Momoa.
he'd say, "Yo, give me
Yo.
$80 for a handshake." You know what I mean? But French Stewart is the best thing since French toast.
Yes.
We met him. We went back to his booth after, talked to him for a while. He was a good.
Mhm.
He talked to the Hawk, gave him
Oh
some good
yeah.
advice. I
Yeah.
always like to see that.
Yeah. I mean, one of the funniest things that he talked about, which I loved, was someone asked him about his name, French Stewart,
Mm,
and he said actually his real name is, I think, Milton French Stewart the Fourth,
mm.
and he says, like his great grandfather, I think what, like accidentally ended up killing a guy who was on the run.
Mm.
His grandfather was something else
There was a lot of shady material. Oh yeah.
shady. His father was he actually admitted was a con artist, and he said, and of course he's an actor, so he says it took 4 generations to finally get to a semi legitimate profession that he works occasionally.
He had a great gimmick which I should use,
Yeah.
where to get free tires, He rented a car. He took the tires off of the car, switched them with his bad tires, and then he brought the car back, and nobody asked any questions.
Yeah,
And
that was his father, not French.
that has a special place in my heart because earlier this week I had to drop $300 on 2 tires,
Ouch.
which made me want to drop out of a high-story building.
I can feel that.
You know what I mean.
Mm.
But French was very cool. He also got into some of the Stargate talk, which was nice. Kurt Russell, he said, was a very nice guy, which I figured he would be. I also figured he brought up a guy named James Spader.
James Spader.
Which Alexander is a fan of, and this shoulder is not a fan of James Spader. And I thought it was fun that somebody asked him what it was like working with James Spader, and the answer he gave wasn't a bad answer towards James Spader, but it was one of those answers that was like, yeah, I've been right about what I think the way I think James Spader acts. So my opinion of him, Mr. Spader, doesn't change any. But it was fun to see that was kind of confirmed. Another fun story was the prince in Stargate. Was he a prince or a pharaoh?
Well,
right?
The thing was, he was an alien who put on the facade of a pharaoh to control everyone.
He was a prince of the brown powder.
Yeah.
So he liked to do heroin in his arm. So what would happen is, I guess this was coming off of a TV show that was big that he got an Emmy for or something like that.
Well, The Crying Game was
it the movie?
It was a movie.
That's what it was, though?
Yeah,
okay, so he did that?
That's what, made him a big name, and then Stargate came shortly after that, and they really wanted him for Stargate. To be perfectly honest, I don't think he did anything really after that.
His life became The Crying Game.
Yeah.
That was his new hobby. That's what he tells his kids when they come in and catch him crying. I'm doing a new game. It's called The Crying Game.
Well,
so anyways, so this gentleman was sought after, I guess, for a couple months in his career, and they kept coming. They wanted him to play the Pharaoh guy, the alien Pharaoh, and he kept turning it down. And I guess we probably shouldn't get into money, I guess, but they were giving him an outrageous amount of money. And when I say outrageous, I mean like more, let's say more than 9 million, but less than 11 million. Find the middle ground on that. For 2 weeks of work, and he kept refusing the film because he says, I do heroin all day, which you have to admire the honesty in that situation, because some people would just show up and you got to deal with that problem. At least he's giving them a warning to say, it's a problem. It's like, we've worked with a few people, and in the beginning, they give you those little hints of madness where you see a few things, and those few things are just signals that really, they're red lights that go bing, bing, and what they're really saying is, if you think what I just did was a problem, you just wait a couple months, bud, and you're going to feel the pain. So at least that guy was honest with them and said, hey, I got an issue. They brought him in, which is wild because, at that point, everybody knows how dangerous and crazy heroin is. And, you can't operate on heroin. But, I think Alexander had the coffin story that he liked a lot. You want to tell that story?
Yeah. Anyone who's seen Stargate knows there's a scene where it's the first time you really see the Pharaoh. You got the sarcophagus, and he's laying down, and the scene pretty much, you see his hands slowly come out, and then he does kind of the Dracula sit up, and by doing that, that's how he's introduced. And French, his character is one of the soldiers, and he's thrown down onto the ground in front of the sarcophagus, and he's there, and he sees the hand come out, and he's like waiting for, of course, the Pharaoh to rise, and it's like 1 minute, and then another minute, and he's like, whoa, this guy's really building the tension. And then all of a sudden you hear him snoring from inside the sarcophagus.
Yeah.
He just, passed out. So there wasn't any, so it took a few takes for them to actually get him to do the the scene correctly.
The correct term is nodding off.
Nodding off, yes.
Like Notting Hill with Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
We're going to do an episode called Why Does Hugh Grant Have a Career?
That's a good question.
It's a never-ending question.
That's
not anymore, but he used to.
Yeah.
So that was good. The French Stewart thing was really good. Heard some, some gadget stories, which were nice. We talked a little about he's in the new Richard Elfman movie.
Yeah.
Talked to him a little bit about that. But yeah, it was really cool meeting him, and he seemed like one of the most genuine guys there.
Yeah.
Which was always good. You know what I mean? So we also got a chance to meet. Well, talked about Tony Danza a little bit. We were gonna get a Carmen Electra autograph.
Oh well. I gotta say I was going to go up and see if I could get a picture with her. And when I got up there, I heard that the price tag was $100. And well, first of all, since I had already dropped a little bit of loot with French, I definitely did not have $100 with me, and I wasn't going to go and get some more. Right. But it was funny. We were talking to someone who had actually gotten a picture with her, and the thing is, first of all, another downside, it wasn't like just a picture; it was a selfie. It had to be a selfie. Now, personally, anyone who knows me, for the most part, I hate selfies. I only do it when I really have to.
Because he hates himself.
Well, because you can't get a really decent picture as far as I'm concerned. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but
I think that's why she kind of wanted that. She didn't want to have to worry about her body. There was nothing wrong with it, but she didn't want to worry about her body.
I mean, come on, honest Carmen Electra. I mean, there is definitely nothing wrong. So, I mean, personally, if I'm dropping 100 bills for a picture with anybody, I'm getting a good goddamn picture.
Something has to come out of the situation. He's got to get something out of the situation. Something's got to, arise and fall.
Yeah, of the Roman Empire.
It's true.
Anyway, at least that's what I call it. Now, anyway, so unfortunately, I had to pass on the Carmen Electra picture.
But she seemed very sweet. We also got to meet James DeBello.
Yeah.
From Detroit Rock City and Cabin Fever.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought he was a really fun character. Really nice guy.
Yeah.
We exchanged info and gave movies.
Yeah.
We'll let you know if he actually said he was going to give us an email. I don't count on these things, but it was said, and if he hits up the old email, I'll be a happy guy. But I'll give you a lesson in the business. Don't expect anything to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. After we met James DeBello, we met a child actor that it was beloved. And 92, I think, is when
he was a child actor every single kid wanted to be.
He really, I wanted to be this gentleman.
Everyone thought he was the coolest kid ever.
If I could have been him, all my problems would have been solved.
And his name is
Mr. Edward Furlong.
Yes. Because, I mean, come on. Tell me what kid, when Terminator 2 came out, didn't want to be Eddie Furlong in that movie? I mean...
Now he's Eddie Furbong. I like Eddie Furlong, but he acts like he doesn't like anybody. No, he was cool. He was a good guy. We talked to him for a little bit. He did give me the look like I was wasting his time. But that could be, because long days... He might want beef like Jason Momoa. Only time will tell. Well, me and Bill Coyne are going to bring beef to him if he wants beef. Like a deli, we're going to bring a whole fucking truck of meat, frozen meat, 18-wheeler to his house. There it is. Skeleton gloves. Wrap around your neck. Okay.
We unleashed the coin.
Deli boys. Eddie Furlong was a good dude. He got some DVDs too. I felt like if any of the DVDs we gave out went into the trash that day, that it was probably Eddie Furlong's batch of DVDs. That was the feeling I got from that.
So you think DJ Stan the Man unfortunately ended up on the bottom of
I don't like to think those things, no.
We try not to hope for the best.
I try to think that if they don't like the movies, they give them to whoever's watching them, whoever's handling them that weekend, and say, here, I'm not going to give you a tip, but here's some DVDs. But they were all very nice people. Warriors, great movie, awesome movie. We went through that line, got to meet everybody real quick.
Yeah.
Got to talk to the Swan character for a little bit. Michael, I forget his last name at this moment. But he was very cool. They were all real cool guys. My only fun story about the Warriors is I was, I forget which one he was, but for anybody that knows who Gore-Tex is, he's a rapper. And he looks exactly, he's got that Brooklyn look, like a Brooklyn face. I've seen it on numerous people, and they're always from the New York, Brooklyn area. Canassie. But he dropped like $200 in 20s out of his pocket on the ground. It was kicking around. And I remember I said, hey, I tapped him on the shoulder. Like a good guy, like a good guy would. And I go, bud, you dropped some money there. He turns around and he goes, oh shit, thanks, man. And he picks it up and he goes, fuck, I almost lost all this money. And I go, yeah.
Then he slipped half of it to Matt.
Yeah.
He slipped half of it to Matt. What a good guy. Yeah.
He slipped me half of his debt. He says, thanks. And, we're just two different types of folks, I guess, because if I drop 200 bills and somebody said, hey, you just dropped 200 bills instead of putting their foot on it and sliding it around the corner, shuffling like a penguin across the floor, and then people see him lift up his foot and they pull up, $200 in 20s, in a situation like that, if somebody I would give them some free shit.
Yeah.
But he didn't give me no free shit. I would have done for, I would have took a nice 8x10 that he paid like fucking $3 for, and just give it to Andrew. Give it to Andrew. He was there. Give kid a little hope for the world.
Hope for the future.
I gave him some DVDs. This is how nice he was. Because I did him that favor, he promised he was going to watch the movies. But I'm going to let everybody know something right now. He didn't watch the movies.
Promises.
Those movies. The janitor brought those movies home.
The janitor has all of our movies.
Yeah,
he's a huge fan. He loves Matthew Fisher.
We're doing The Warriors 2, which is all of our movies. There's like 7 movies floating around trying to find their way home to celebrities' houses. But no, the Warrior guys were cool. Even that dude was really cool. I thought it was fun. I just had a different perspective on that situation where, someone saves you $200 and they're obviously a fan of your shit. They're wearing the t-shirt. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just think the right thing would be to throw them a fucking free 8x10. But I could be completely wrong. I've been completely wrong before. So the Warriors were The Warriors was a very cool experience. The Deadly Grounds Coffee people were there. It's always good to see them.
Oh, the I forget their names. The soft drinks.
Bills.
Is it Bill? Yeah, like
Bill's.
Wild Bill's root beer.
Wild Bill's root beer.
That's a big thing,
Oh yeah, I love it.
We'll give them a little promo. Whenever you start, you can get the cup, and then you can do free refills for that day. And if you bring it on a different day, you can get cheap. I think it's like $3 refills. Or something.
The cups are like $10, $15 for either one of them. And then no matter what, if you come back for either $2 or $3, you can fill up your cup and you can walk around the show. So forget concessions. If Wild Bill is at your event, you're saving money.
Yeah,
I am, and we are gonna bring that cup back to every event.
Yeah, I have it down.
We're gonna put it on a
Matt's
necklace. We're gonna hang it off.
A beer.
Cowbell. It's a cowbell for Hawk.
I need more cowbell.
But it was cool. I'm trying to think of who else was there. It was a there's a lot of cool vendors as usual. We stopped off at the Poster Dude. I always like to stop in there. It's good they have some of the old original posters and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
Prices are usually pretty high, but they're gonna be for something like that. It's film history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The original prints are definitely cool to have. I try and collect as many as I can when I can.
Yeah, I'm a big collector of the old classic Abercastell lobby cards.
Sure.
I have to say I have to blame him for my obsession.
Who, me?
No, the
okay.
gentleman at Supermegafest where he had the old posters and old lobby cards, because at first, I go to these conventions and I get like just a poster or, something like that, which is an obvious, reprint or something. Because, for the most part, I don't expect to find any of like the old classic, old time, vintage things. I mean, for the most part, I just assume that those who are going to have it, and you'll never see them. But actually, going to his booth was the first time where I bought a vintage lobby card from, I think it was Time of Their Lives, and from that, I didn't pick up any this year because most of the ones that I wanted have already been sold to other people or I had bought myself. But yeah, it's definitely great when you can actually, and if you're a fan of any of the old classic, films, he definitely has a wide variety of posters, lobby cards, old 8x10 pictures, and other things like that.
Yeah, we got Andrew a nice knife, pocket knife. Been trying to get him one of them for a little bit. Price was a little steep, but made him happy. So what can you do?
Everything.
$20. Pocket knife, just a flip pocket knife though. Yeah. It should have been like 10.
Everything's always more and more expensive.
Believe that. Believe that, kid. Yeah. Even the admission wasn't as high as other places, but it was still, it's getting up there. The convention thing's a competition.
Yeah.
And I think they work together to raise prices.
Yeah, but I mean, personally, I always have a soft spot for the kind of smaller, like Rocket Shock and Supermegafest. I think that they are just big enough and small enough, as perfect cons. Same thing with ScareCon. When you start going to like Rhode Island Comic Con and the other ones, which they just fill in as much people as they can. They really don't care about fire hazards or anything. I mean, I remember going there and literally it's like cheek to jowl. You can hardly move. And it's not a fun experience. I mean, they have a lot of people you won't see anywhere else. But, I mean, trying to, get even 2 seconds with them or get in the line that you didn't feel like, you're a sardine.
Well, they just shut down the Walker Stalker conventions, right?
Yeah, but that was
over like that. Was it like over that them not treating the fans right or robbing them or something?
No. From what I heard, they closed it down because it was something with actually the celebs, where I think that it was some kind of money issue. It was more about the celebs and the convention thing going on. And from what I heard, it really wasn't fan related, but it was something about like the booking and the money that was supposed to be either.
Well, I'm going to give you an inside scoop right now.
Uh-oh.
I just got a text from all the conventions just texted me.
Uh-oh.
And they wanted me to tell everybody publicly before I get killed off. The only reason why they shut down Walker Stalker is because they upset the celebrities. If they were just taking advantage of the fans and the people buying tickets, there would be no problem. But because some of the celebrities are upset, now it's an issue. Because one of them didn't get paid, now it's an issue.
Yeah.
We call it issues, tissues,
rain. Want to hear one of the big issues about Walker Stalker?
This dude wasn't there. They bring this guy in for a guest every year. That's what they need to do.
He should run Walker Stalker.
I did the first year.
I remember that.
Of Walker Stalker. Norman Reedus was scheduled to come in. he didn't show up with the refunds that they had to give. And I hate to say this because this was the first year, but whenever someone doesn't show up, that's a substantial name, and they have pre-sales. You have to get the refunds.
Gotta.
And I think unfortunately that kind of trickled down.
And they didn't do the refund?
No, they did do the refund, but it seems like whenever there would always be a cancellation.
Well, that goes back
for the pre-sales.
Yeah.
And that kind of unfortunately dwindled.
Well, that goes back to
it's
that.
It's a contributing factor, definitely.
Well, what you just said goes back to the Rutger Hauer thing that I brought up earlier. It might have been in a different episode, but we'll refresh it here where there was a convention that had him scheduled, and then he passed away a week before it, and they never did the cancellation or anything like that, which I thought was a little shady. Because people are going to show up. You do have they should know that he died if they're fans type thing. But I'm sure there's people that didn't hear that he died that showed up thinking they were going to get his autograph. And realistically, he was the biggest Blade Runner dude there. Maybe even the biggest name of the whole convention. I don't quite remember.
He passed away like 2 to 3 weeks before.
I think it was less than that. But all they have to do is throw up a cancellation logo over the picture.
Yeah.
But I understand from the marketing point of a convention is like you need those seats filled or you can't. I mean, they have to pay for the venue that they're renting and all that and the insurance and shit. So there's a business element to it. Yeah, I don't know if it'll ever be a fairground. They keep upping the prices, which is crazy, but
yeah.
I don't know exactly where that money goes. You know, like the celebrities. And from what I hear, they're forced to do it. You know what I mean?
Goes to me.
Goes to Bill Coyne.
Bill Coyne's the godfather of conventions.
If there's a dime bag sold on East Street, I want in.
Back when a dime bag used to cost a dime.
I remember when a dime bag cost a dime. But yeah, Supermegafest was good. Like I said, I always recommend it for especially if you get kids and you're looking to get out. It is one of the most cost efficient conventions around.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe $20-$25. It could have went up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Rocket Shock's at $30 a ticket. Rhode Island Comic Con's like $60 a ticket.
Oh yeah.
It really depends on the day of. If you do the pre-sale, then it's usually cheaper.
True.
Say you do the pre-sale 2 months beforehand, you can get a great rate. Some conventions at the door can charge you as much as $20, up to usually a little less than $50.
But yeah, I mean, I remember going to Rhode Island Comic Con once, and because they always sell out before. Because usually I like to buy the ticket when I'm there.
Yeah.
But with stuff like Rhode Island Comic Con, it's always sold out. So, you're not going to get a ticket if you just show up. But the thing I always find amazing, which always ticks me off, is they always claim, oh, it's cheaper to get it beforehand, which is a lie. Because it never is. Because it's always more expensive.
Charging fee, yeah.
Because there's a charging fee. There's like, oh yeah, it's like, $20 cheaper, and then, it's like $50, $60.
It's not even $20 though. It's only like $5 cheaper.
Yeah.
And then you gotta pay like $8 for the shipping.
And then for like the special plastic, thing you can keep forever, which personally I don't care about.
I like those.
Yeah.
I enjoy those. I hang them up.
Yeah, but I'd be perfect. Just send me a paper ticket so I can just get in.
But guys, and sorry to interject, but to take into consideration, we are in a little state called Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Our nickname is Taxachusetts.
Right.
Because we will tax the shit out of you no matter what. So you were always going to be paying a little more no matter what.
Yeah, but this is out of Rhode Island. So
oh, we got you on that one, Billy.
This is out of Rhode Island, not Mass. So, I don't know the taxation things with Rhode Island, But it's. I mean, it's one of those things when someone says, okay, that if you buy something like a ticket beforehand and it's supposed to be cheaper, okay, cheaper means cheaper than what I would have to dish out if I showed up on the day. Not, oh, that price is cheaper, but you have to get like the mailing, you gotta get this and all of that to actually get the ticket, which then ups the price, which doesn't make it cheaper. So, as far as I'm concerned, don't bullshit. Just say, you will pay more by buying early. Okay? But the thing is, if you don't buy early and you try to buy there, you won't get it. That's all I had to say. Plain and simple.
It'll cost you no matter what. No matter what.
Those pre-sale tickets, that's what pays for the whole thing.
Yeah. But
that's why
I mean,
they push them so much.
I understand, but I mean, don't bullshit about the price. The price is, if I'm paying more, whether it's for the special laminated thing and for it to be shipped to me and all the other, added amenities for it, be upfront. Be like, okay, pre-sale is more expensive, okay, but this is very popular. It will most likely be sold out, so if you want to buy at the door, the chances are you probably will not get in. And if you just do it like that, then instead of trying to say, "Oh yeah, it's cheaper. Yeah, look at the price," and then you up it with all these other things. I mean, it's like it's bullshit. Anyway, I mean, as we were saying, I mean, Supermegafest was a great experience. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend anyone to go to it. It's nice, family friendly. You get to meet a lot of cool celebs, both current and past.
You don't gotta worry about people with their brains hanging all over their shirt, upsetting your little kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to go to a family friendly convention, not into horror, anything,
reasonably affordable.
Yes, it is definitely one of the most reasonable conventions.
Yeah, you got all there's costume people up, like I just said before. You don't got to worry about weird like blood all over the place gore effects, but you got people as superheroes, Star Wars people, Power Rangers, all types of there was a Muppet display there. There's all types of things that even if you're very cost effective like myself, you could get in, and once you're in, you can take pictures, just the pictures you can take with the people walking around. You know what I mean? They always have cars on the outside. They had like a Batman car. They had the General Lee there.
They had a Gotham police car with that Joker graffiti all over it.
They do have the Batmobile every now and then. They didn't have it this time, which would have been cool. You could take pictures in front of it. I mean, if you want to get in it, I think they charge you. But you could snap a pic real quick.
Oh, yeah.
There was a really cool looking Ninja Turtle floating around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's it's fun for all. It's definitely one of the better conventions. Orientated for chilling, for them children. And then you walk across the parking lot, and there's a nice Wendy's right there for a meal. We eat our Wendy's there every year.
Yeah.
Every year. Every time we're there, we eat some Wendy's up in there. And then we walk back in the freezing cold.
So you would describe it as a pop culture convention than just strictly a horror convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely...
I wouldn't even put horror in there. I think it's just straight up TV, comic, pop culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So all the fun things. It's everything that nerds like outside of sci-fi and horror.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're all nerds at heart.
Now, how many times have you guys attended?
We've been to Supermegafest. Together or in general?
I've been going to it's the longest convention I've been going to.
Yeah.
Because I started doing this. I would say 2007. Because back in the dark ages, before I met Matt, I did a cable access show, and we would go to to Supermegafest, do interviews and all that. I mean, that was probably one of the best experiences I had on that show. Was meeting and interviewing and talking to celebrities. And Supermegafest was the first convention I really started going to, and then Rocket Shock was the next one in the series.
Yeah, I started off bringing. I forget who I went with for the first time. I went by myself the first time, I think, and then I started bringing Andrew to him, and that was like a tradition where we went like 4 years straight, and then he skipped one, and he was back this year. But yeah, I remember going before I even met Alex.
Yeah.
But yeah, any other questions, Bill?
Give us your final thoughts on.
That's my final thoughts.
Your final thoughts on the experience overall that weekend when you attended Supermegafest.
Well, I gotta say, my final thoughts on Supermegafest is that, as we talked about before, that I really think that it's a great convention because it's the perfect size. It's not too big, not too small. It has just enough celebrities, artists, vendors, so forth, and it has a very community feel, which I like. So it's not like some of the others, which are so big and have so many big names, but also means huge crowds, and you feel like you're going to get trampled to death. Mm-hmm. And it's not just like 1 or 2 booths, in the back, and maybe a few vendors. But it's like I said, I think Supermegafest definitely is a great convention to go to, especially if you like cons and you're looking for more of a community feel than just being one of like 50 million people that are trying to get in.
Mm. Okay. Well, we want to thank you to John and everybody at Supermegafest that invited us out there to be able to be press and talk about it. And on the BoomBastiCAST, we like to throw in our jokes and make fun and do a little dabble in that. And but we only make jokes about the ones we love, and it keeps things exciting and entertaining.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the real note, definitely check out Supermegafest. It's a yearly thing, a lot of fun. Like we've probably said a million times in this podcast, very family friendly, and probably your best bang for your buck if you're going to be bringing kids to a convention. But the thing with every convention is the most important thing is the guests. So make sure you find one that you like. If there's somebody that you really want to meet coming to one of those bigger ones, then it's worth paying the extra money to see them. But if you kind of want to get your feet wet a little bit and seeing what a convention's like, I'd say Supermegafest is probably your best bet to kind of ease into it. Like Alex said, it's not shoulder to shoulder packed. Yeah. You can get around. And, very family friendly. There's artists everywhere. I'm trying to start to grab one piece of art from like a local artist each time out. I started with, got a nice Charlie Manson 8x10 by Jim Kavanaugh.
Heck yeah.
And you familiar? And got a nice bracelet too. Still wearing it. Me and Andrew got bracelets from him. Still wearing it. Supporting. Heck you know what I mean? Silver Bullet Studios Inc. Doing it big. But get out there and support your conventions. You going to these conventions makes it possible for them to have more, which is always good. And Massachusetts and Rhode Island give us, for fans to be able to get out there and meet some of these people and be in a cool environment like that. So we definitely want to support the cons and the vendors and everybody that's local that comes out, and even the people that come from afar. You know what I mean? It's its own machine. You support it, and it keeps going. So check it out. I think it's fun for the whole family.
Yes, it is.
So with that, we'll see everybody at Supermegafest next year. We'll see everybody here on the next episode of the BoomBastiCAST. And it might be Christmas episode.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, all the way.